Have you ever felt a subtle unease around someone but couldn't quite pinpoint why? Trust me, you're not alone. Life is a journey where we meet all kinds of people, some uplifting, others draining. It's tempting to believe everyone has good intentions. But the truth is, not everyone wears their heart on their sleeve. In fact, some carry intentions that can deeply hurt, manipulate, or drain us emotionally. In this video, we're uncovering the 10 telltale signs of a toxic individual and, more importantly, how you can protect yourself from their influence. Think about it. That coworker who revels in others' failures, or the friend who constantly belittles your dreams. These aren't just small red flags, they're glaring warning signs. Let me share this. Recognizing these toxic behaviors is not about spreading negativity but empowering yourself with wisdom. Because the more you understand, the more you can navigate relationships with clarity and peace of mind. Whether it's in your family, at work, or even in your social circle, knowing when to step back from harmful influences is a crucial life skill. And here's the best part. We're not just talking signs today. We'll dive into real-life examples, unpack the lessons behind them, and end with actionable tips to help you build healthier, happier connections. If you're someone who values personal growth, hit that like button, because by the end of this video, you'll not only recognize the signs of toxicity but also walk away with the tools to shield your mental and emotional well-being. Ready? Let's uncover the truth together. 1. Pleasure in others' pain. Not everyone around us shares the same level of empathy or compassion. In fact, some people take twisted satisfaction in the struggles of others. It's subtle at first, a smirk, an inappropriate joke, or even a dismissive attitude toward someone's misfortune, but these behaviors point to something more malicious. A toxic person often derives pleasure from seeing others suffer, feeding their own sense of power or control. From subtle smirks to outright glee. Imagine a coworker who laughs when you make a mistake in a meeting or a friend who mocks you for opening up about a personal challenge. These individuals thrive on moments of weakness in others. It's not about misunderstanding humor. It's about a lack of empathy and an active delight in discomfort. Worse, some toxic people go beyond mere observation. They create situations that provoke chaos or hardship, relishing the pain they inflict. Real-life example. Let's take a classic workplace scenario. You're stressed about meeting a tight deadline. Instead of offering help, a coworker accidentally lets slip a rumor about your project struggles during a team meeting, framing it as harmless chatter. Meanwhile, they sit back and watch the fallout with a satisfied smirk. This isn't just unprofessional, it's a hallmark of someone toxic who thrives on others' discomfort. Why does this happen? At the core, these behaviors are often rooted in deep insecurities. Toxic people feel validated by seeing others falter, as it temporarily makes them feel superior. Their pleasure in others' pain serves as a distraction from their own shortcomings or internal struggles. What you should do: recognize the signs early. Pay attention to patterns. This isn't about one awkward joke but a repeated tendency to mock or exploit pain. Limit exposure. Distance yourself from these individuals where possible. Protect your mental space by minimizing contact. Prioritize positive relationships. Invest time in people who lift you up and offer genuine support rather than those who bring negativity into your life. Recognizing these signs is not about labeling others unnecessarily but about protecting yourself. Understanding who drains your energy or thrives on your discomfort allows you to make healthier choices about the people you surround yourself with. Life is too short to be weighed down by those who celebrate your struggles instead of your successes. Now, let's dive into the next sign and uncover even more ways to safeguard your emotional well-being. 2. The need to control your life. Toxic individuals often display an overwhelming desire to control not only their own lives but also the lives of those around them. For them, dominance is a way to assert power, and they'll go to great lengths to ensure everything aligns with their wishes. This behavior can manifest in various forms, from subtle manipulation to outright authoritarian tendencies. Signs of controlling behavior. Picture this: a boss who insists on micromanaging every tiny detail of your work, not because they want to help, but because they need to assert control. Or a friend who always decides where you go, what you do, and even who you meet, completely disregarding your opinions. These aren't minor quirks, they're glaring red flags of someone who thrives on dominance. Manipulation tactics. Such individuals are often skilled manipulators. They may use emotional blackmail, guilt tripping, or even subtle intimidation to bend situations to their favor. For example, a controlling partner might constantly check your whereabouts, claiming it's out of concern. But in reality, it's about asserting dominance over your time and decisions. Similarly, a friend might dismiss your preferences, dictating plans, and making you feel obligated to comply. Real-life example. Imagine a close friend who always insists on choosing the restaurants when you go out together. While this might seem harmless at first, over time, they never compromise or even ask for your opinion. If you suggest an alternative, they guilt-trip you with phrases like, "I always do so much for you, can't you just agree for once?" This controlling nature isn't about preferences, it's about power dynamics. Why do they act this way? The root of this behavior often lies in fear and insecurity. Toxic people may feel powerless in other areas of their lives, so they seek control over others as a way to compensate. By dictating how others act, they create an illusion of stability and authority in their own lives. How to handle it? Set clear boundaries. Politely but firmly communicate your limits. Let them know you value mutual respect and won't tolerate overreach into your autonomy. Stand your ground. Controlling individuals often test boundaries. Be consistent in asserting your independence to avoid falling into their cycle of manipulation. Reassess the relationship. If their behavior persists despite your efforts, it might be time to reduce your interactions with them or, in extreme cases, walk away entirely. Life is too precious to live under the shadow of someone else's control. By recognizing and addressing these behaviors early, you reclaim your independence and prioritize your well-being. Surround yourself with those who respect your choices and celebrate your individuality, because you deserve nothing less. 3. A strange feeling when you're around them. Have you ever been around someone and felt inexplicably uneasy? Maybe it's a tightness in your chest, a sense of restlessness, or just an instinctual feeling that something isn't right. This isn't mere coincidence. It could be your body and mind picking up on subtle cues of toxicity. People with harmful intentions often emit an energy that can disturb your peace, even if their actions seem harmless on the surface. The warning signs. Your instincts are often your first line of defense. Imagine being at a family gathering where most people are laughing and chatting, but one person's presence leaves you feeling on edge. They might not be doing anything overtly harmful, but their energy alone feels heavy or negative. This unease isn't something to dismiss. It's a signal that your subconscious is alerting you to potential danger. How this manifests in daily life. In a work setting, it might be a colleague whose mere presence drains your energy, leaving you mentally exhausted. In your personal life, it could be a friend who never outright insults you but makes passive-aggressive comments that linger in your mind long after they've left. These subtle behaviors can build up over time, affecting your emotional well-being and causing anxiety or discomfort. Why do you feel this way? This strange feeling often arises because toxic individuals project negative energy. Their body language, tone of voice, or even the way they interact with others can carry underlying hostility or manipulation. Your instincts may be picking up on micro-expressions or inconsistencies in their behavior that signal their true intentions. Real-life example. Imagine you're working on a group project, and one team member always seems to stir conflict or create unnecessary drama. Even when they're not directly engaging with you, their presence makes you tense. Your body responds to this stress through unease, signaling that this person might not have the group's best interests, or yours, at heart. How to protect yourself. Listen to your intuition. Trust your gut feelings. If someone consistently makes you feel uneasy, don't ignore those signals. Limit interaction. Reduce the amount of time you spend around them. If it's unavoidable, create emotional boundaries to protect your mental space. Reflect on the source. Try to identify specific behaviors or patterns that cause your discomfort. Understanding the root of the issue can help you address it more effectively. The takeaway. Your instincts are a powerful tool in recognizing toxicity. By paying attention to how people make you feel and taking steps to protect your peace, you can create a healthier environment for yourself. Life is too short to ignore the signals your mind and body are sending. Listen to them, act on them, and prioritize your well-being. Now that we've covered this important sign, let's move on to uncovering the next clue to identifying toxic individuals. 4. Lack of responsibility. One of the most defining traits of a toxic individual is their refusal to take responsibility for their actions. Instead of owning up to their mistakes, they shift the blame onto others and often position themselves as the victim. This behavior not only causes frustration but can also create a toxic environment where others feel manipulated and unjustly accused. Recognizing the pattern. Toxic people have a knack for deflecting accountability. Imagine a coworker who misses an important deadline. Instead of admitting their oversight, they point fingers at the team, claiming they weren't given the necessary resources or blaming miscommunication as the issue. These individuals avoid any confrontation with their own shortcomings by making others feel at fault. How it shows up in daily life. In relationships, this might look like a friend who consistently cancels plans last minute and blames you for choosing an inconvenient time. Or, in a family setting, it could be a relative who stirs conflict during gatherings and later claims they were just misunderstood. These people never reflect on their role in problems. Instead, they twist situations to make themselves look innocent. Why do they behave this way? At its core, this lack of responsibility often stems from insecurity and fear of being perceived as inadequate. By blaming others, they protect their ego and avoid facing their flaws. However, this creates a toxic cycle where those around them are left feeling guilty or defensive. Real-life example. Think of a group project where one team member fails to complete their assigned task. When questioned, they might say, "I wasn't given enough time," or "nobody reminded me." Rather than acknowledging their failure, they turn the spotlight onto the team, making everyone else feel responsible for their mistake. Over time, this pattern erodes trust and morale within the group. What can you do? Stay calm. Don't get drawn into their blame game. Respond calmly and factually to avoid escalating the situation. Set clear expectations. If you're working with them, make sure roles and responsibilities are clearly defined to reduce room for deflection. Hold them accountable. Gently but firmly point out the pattern when it arises. For example, say, "I understand there were challenges, but let's focus on how we can address this going forward." Key takeaway. Toxic individuals avoid responsibility to maintain their image and control the narrative. By recognizing this behavior and refusing to take on misplaced blame, you protect your emotional and mental well-being. Surround yourself with people who own their actions and strive for accountability. It's a vital ingredient for healthy, constructive relationships. With this knowledge, let's dive into the next sign and continue empowering ourselves to identify and distance from toxic behaviors. 5. Habit of lying. One of the most damaging traits of a toxic individual is their habitual dishonesty. These people lie not only to gain personal advantage but sometimes simply to manipulate or control others. The lies may start small, like exaggerating achievements, but over time, they erode trust and create a foundation of deceit in the relationship. Spotting the pattern. Toxic individuals lie with alarming regularity, often without remorse. For instance, a coworker might fabricate stories about their contributions to a project, taking credit for others' work. Or a friend might give excuses for missing your event, claiming they were sick, only for you to later find out they were at a party. These lies are not harmless. They're calculated and often designed to benefit them at your expense. How lies manifest in everyday life. Dishonesty can show up in various ways, from small untruths to large-scale fabrications. A toxic partner, for example, might lie about their whereabouts to avoid confrontation. A family member might exaggerate or alter facts to turn others against you. Fostering division and mistrust. Over time, these behaviors create an environment where you're constantly questioning what's real and what's not. Why do they lie? At the root of this habit is often a desire for control, attention, or self-preservation. Toxic individuals may use lies to manipulate others into doing what they want, to avoid responsibility, or to maintain a facade of superiority. For them, honesty is less important than maintaining their agenda or image. Real-life example. Imagine working with someone who constantly brags about their connections or achievements to gain favor with superiors. Over time, you notice inconsistencies in their stories. One day, they claim they led a major project, only for you to discover they weren't even involved. These lies aren't just annoying, they can damage the team's trust and morale. How to protect yourself. Trust actions over words. Pay attention to what they do, not just what they say. Actions are harder to fake than words. Fact check when necessary. If you suspect someone is lying, discreetly verify their claims. This can help you avoid being misled. Establish clear boundaries. Let them know dishonesty is unacceptable in your relationship. Distance yourself if they continue to lie despite your efforts. Key takeaway. A person who lies habitually undermines trust and creates a toxic dynamic in any relationship. While everyone might tell a white lie occasionally, consistent dishonesty is a major red flag. Protect your peace by recognizing these behaviors early and prioritizing relationships built on honesty and integrity. Let's move on to the next sign to uncover even more ways to identify and navigate toxic behaviors. 6. Absence of remorse. One of the clearest signs of a toxic individual is their complete lack of remorse for their actions. These people are not troubled by the hurt or damage they cause to others. Instead of taking responsibility or apologizing, they often double down on their behavior, manipulating situations to make others question their own perceptions. How this behavior appears. Imagine confronting someone who spread false rumors about you. Instead of showing regret or apologizing, they dismiss your feelings by saying, "You're overreacting," or "It wasn't a big deal." Toxic individuals often deflect accountability, making you feel like you're the problem for even addressing the issue. Gaslighting tactics. A lack of remorse often goes hand in hand with gaslighting, a manipulative tactic where they twist facts to make you doubt your reality. For example, if you point out their hurtful behavior, they might claim, "You're imagining things," or "I was just joking." This not only invalidates your emotions but also shifts the focus away from their harmful actions. Why don't they feel remorse? This absence of empathy stems from self-centeredness or an inability to connect emotionally with others. Toxic individuals prioritize their own needs and desires above all else. Admitting fault would mean acknowledging their imperfections, something they're often unwilling to do. Real-life example. Picture a coworker who steals credit for your idea during a meeting. When confronted, they might justify their actions by saying, "It was a team effort," or "I just presented it better." Rather than admitting wrongdoing, they rationalize their behavior to avoid accountability, leaving you feeling frustrated and undermined. How to protect yourself. Trust your feelings. If you sense someone is unapologetic despite clear harm, don't second-guess yourself. Your feelings are valid. Avoid debating them. Trying to reason with someone who refuses to feel remorse is often a losing battle. Keep your interactions focused and factual. Set firm boundaries. If they continue to show a lack of empathy or remorse, distance yourself. Protecting your emotional health should be a priority. Key takeaway. Dealing with someone who lacks remorse can be exhausting and emotionally draining. Recognize this trait as a major red flag and take steps to limit their impact on your life. You deserve relationships where accountability and empathy are valued. Now, let's move forward and explore the next sign of toxic behavior. The more you learn, the better equipped you'll be to protect your peace and well-being. 7. Open cruelty. Some toxic individuals don't bother hiding their harmful tendencies, they exhibit open cruelty. Often disguised as honesty or just joking, these people deliberately inflict emotional or physical pain and seem to enjoy watching others suffer. Their lack of empathy and the intent to harm make them especially dangerous to your well-being. Recognizing open cruelty. Picture a coworker who humiliates you during a meeting by pointing out your mistakes in front of everyone. Instead of offering constructive criticism, their words are designed to embarrass and belittle. Or consider a friend who mocks your insecurities, saying things like, "I'm just being honest," after making a hurtful comment about your appearance or abilities. These actions are not about helping you grow, they're meant to tear you down. Cruelty disguised as humor. A common tactic of openly cruel individuals is to cloak their hurtful remarks in jokes. For example, they might laugh off an insult by saying, "Don't be so sensitive, it's just a joke." This behavior dismisses your feelings and gives them an excuse to avoid accountability. Over time, this can erode your self-esteem and make you question your worth. Real-life example. Imagine a friend who consistently makes disparaging remarks about your dreams or passions. If you share an ambitious goal, they might say, "You do that? Don't get your hopes up." These comments may seem minor, but their intent is clear: to make you doubt yourself and your abilities. This isn't tough love, it's toxic. Why do they behave this way? Open cruelty often stems from a desire to assert dominance or control. By making others feel small, these individuals boost their own ego. They thrive on the discomfort or pain of others because it makes them feel powerful and superior. How to protect yourself? Call them out, if appropriate. Calmly address their behavior. Say something like, "That comment wasn't helpful, it felt hurtful." Don't internalize their words. Remember, their cruelty reflects their own insecurities, not your worth. Set boundaries. Limit your interactions with them and avoid situations where they can continue their toxic behavior. Key takeaway. Open cruelty is a blatant form of toxicity that should never be ignored. People who deliberately hurt others for their own satisfaction are not worth your time or energy. Surround yourself with individuals who respect and uplift you. And don't hesitate to walk away from those who don't. As we move on to the next sign, keep building your toolkit to identify and shield yourself from toxic behaviors. Your peace of mind is worth it. 8. Warnings from friends and family. When the people closest to you express concern about someone in your life, it's wise to take those warnings seriously. Friends and family often notice toxic behaviors or patterns that you may overlook, especially when emotions are involved. Ignoring these red flags can lead to deeper emotional harm down the line. Why their warnings matter. Your loved ones have an external perspective and typically want the best for you. If multiple people in your circle are raising similar concerns about someone, it's worth paying attention. For example, they might notice manipulative tendencies, controlling behavior, or a lack of respect that you've brushed aside because of your emotional investment. Common scenarios. Imagine you start dating someone new, and your closest friends mention that this person has a history of mistreating past partners. Or perhaps a family member observes how a coworker seems to undermine you during gatherings or discussions. These insights are often based on behaviors they've observed and are intended to protect you from potential harm. Why it's hard to listen. When you're emotionally involved with someone, it's easy to rationalize their actions or dismiss others' concerns as overreactions. Toxic individuals may even manipulate you into believing that your loved ones are jealous or don't understand them. This isolation tactic is a hallmark of toxicity, designed to make you dependent on them and distrustful of those who care about you. Real-life example. Consider a scenario where you bring a new partner to a family dinner. Throughout the evening, your siblings notice how this person dominates conversations, dismisses your opinions, or subtly criticizes you. Afterward, they express their concerns, pointing out specific instances of disrespect. While you may be tempted to defend your partner, it's essential to reflect on their observations objectively. What to do when you receive warnings. Listen without defensiveness. Approach these conversations with an open mind. Loved ones are often more objective than you in such situations. Look for patterns. Pay attention to whether the concerns align with your own experiences or gut feelings. Take action if necessary. If you notice consistent red flags, consider re-evaluating the relationship or setting boundaries to protect yourself. Key takeaway. Friends and family are your allies, not your adversaries. When they voice concerns about someone in your life, it's not to control you but to ensure your happiness and well-being. Their warnings, especially when repeated or consistent, are a valuable tool for identifying toxicity before it causes significant harm. Let's move on to the final sign and wrap up this journey of understanding and self-protection. Knowledge is power, and you're well on your way to safeguarding your peace and emotional health. 9. Contempt. One of the most toxic forms of emotional manipulation is contempt. Toxic individuals use contempt to make you feel inferior, criticizing everything from your appearance to your interests, dreams, and values. This behavior is not about constructive feedback. It's about breaking your confidence and keeping you under their control. How contempt manifests. Imagine a partner who constantly points out your physical flaws, saying things like, "You'd look better if you lost some weight," or, "Why don't you dress more stylishly?" These comments aren't aimed at helping you improve. They're designed to make you feel inadequate. Similarly, a friend might mock your career aspirations, saying, "You're dreaming too big. People like you don't achieve things like that." Over time, these remarks can erode your self-esteem, making you question your worth and abilities. Why they use contempt. Contempt is a powerful tool for control. By belittling you, Toxic individuals ensure that you rely on their validation, even as they withhold it. It creates a dynamic where you constantly strive to prove yourself to someone who will never truly acknowledge your worth. Real life example. Think about a family member who dismisses your hobbies as childish or a waste of time. If you share your passion for painting or music, they might laugh and say, "When are you going to grow up and do something serious?" This isn't just discouraging, it's an intentional attempt to devalue something that brings you joy. The impact of contempt. Repeated exposure to contempt can damage your mental health, leading to feelings of inadequacy, self-doubt, and even depression. It's a form of emotional abuse that chips away at your self-worth and makes it harder to recognize your strengths and accomplishments. How to protect yourself. Recognize the behavior. Acknowledge that these remarks are not constructive criticism but intentional attempts to belittle you. Challenge the narrative. Remind yourself that your dreams, passions, and qualities are valid, regardless of someone else's opinion. Set firm boundaries. Let them know that their comments are hurtful and will not be tolerated. Limit interactions if they persist in their behavior. Seek support. Surround yourself with people who uplift and encourage you. Positive relationships can counteract the effects of contempt. Key takeaway. Contempt is a destructive behavior that has no place in a healthy relationship. Recognizing it early allows you to reclaim your confidence and distance yourself from those who aim to undermine you. You deserve respect, support, and appreciation for who you are. Don't settle for less. With this final sign, you now have the tools to identify toxic behaviors and take proactive steps to protect your emotional well-being. Let's wrap up with some empowering conclusions to help you move forward confidently. 10. Animal abuse. Cruelty toward animals is one of the clearest and most troubling signs of a toxic person. People who mistreat or neglect animals often display deeper issues, such as a lack of empathy, emotional instability, or even aggressive tendencies. This behavior is not just harmful to animals, it's a major red flag about the abuser's character and how they may treat others. What animal abuse looks like. Animal abuse can take many forms, from physical harm to neglect. Imagine a neighbor who frequently yells at and strikes their dog for minor misbehaviors, or someone who keeps pets in poor conditions, denying them proper food, care, or shelter. These acts reveal a disturbing disregard for the well-being of a living being. Why it's a red flag. Studies have shown a strong link between cruelty to animals and violent or abusive behavior toward people. A person who has no problem causing harm to an innocent animal may carry the same lack of empathy into their interactions with others. This is why spotting and addressing this behavior early is critical, not just for the animal's safety but also to prevent potential harm to humans. Real-life example. Imagine a family member who repeatedly laughs about disciplining their pet in harsh ways, or a coworker who brags about intentionally frightening their neighbor's cat for fun. While they may downplay these actions as insignificant or humorous, they're indicative of a deeper, more toxic issue: a lack of compassion and respect for life. The psychological roots of animal abuse. People who abuse animals often do so because they feel powerless in other areas of their lives. By exerting control over a defenseless being, they temporarily boost their own sense of dominance. However, this false sense of power often translates to other toxic behaviors in their relationships with humans, such as manipulation, aggression, or emotional abuse. How to respond. Distance yourself. If someone you know exhibits this behavior, consider limiting your interactions with them. This is a clear sign of their inability to empathize. Report abuse. If you witness ongoing animal cruelty, contact the appropriate authorities or animal welfare organizations. Protecting the animal is the immediate priority. Address the behavior. If it feels safe, call out their actions and express why they are unacceptable. Sometimes, toxic individuals may not realize the gravity of their actions and need to be confronted. Key takeaway. Animal abuse is a serious and telling sign of a toxic personality. It reflects a fundamental lack of empathy that often extends beyond animals and into their relationships with people. By recognizing and addressing this behavior, you not only protect innocent animals but also safeguard yourself and others from potential harm. With this final sign uncovered, you now have a comprehensive understanding of the traits and behaviors that define toxic individuals. Let's conclude by summarizing the lessons learned and empowering you to create healthier, more positive relationships in your life. Thank you for taking the time to join us on this journey of uncovering the signs of toxic individuals and learning how to protect your peace and well-being. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with friends, and leave a comment below to let us know your thoughts or personal experiences. Your support helps us continue to create meaningful content that empowers and inspires. And don't forget to subscribe to Value Gold so you won't miss our upcoming videos packed with life lessons, wisdom, and practical advice. Stay tuned for the next video, where we'll explore, insert teaser for the next topic, e.g., how to build resilience and thrive in challenging environments. Together, let's keep growing and becoming the best versions of ourselves. See you next time.